Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gershwin, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue talking about the Inquisition as we get into a brand new faction, the Oblationists. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We post Warhammer 40K content every single day. And also, if you don't know too much about the Inquisition and the different factions, I'm not just talking about the Ordos, because you have the Ordo Xenos, Malleus, and like the major ones, but the actual breakdown and the schisms of the Inquisition. I would say check out our 40 Facts on Xanathism, and also our 40 Facts on the Puritanism faction of the Inquisition first, and then check out this video, because an Oblationist is basically something along the lines of a Xanathite and a Puritanism combined in a way. So check those videos out. Link is going to be down in the description before you watch the full video. But with that said, let's get into 40 Facts on the Oblationists. The Oblationist Inquisitor faction is an oath-sworn society of bitter fanatics who wield warp-forged weapons, bind demons, and command the power of sorcerers with a self-hating fury that sees all in the Inquisition but their own creed as utterly impure, corrupt, and deserving of destruction. Unlike many other factions of the Inquisition, the origins of the Oblationists can be traced back to a single individual in a single moment in time. In the late 40th millennium, the so-called War of Brass erupted, engulfing the Calixis sector in one of the worst conflicts seen since the days of the Angevin Crusade. The hive worlds of the Galmiro cluster fell into sedation following the charismatic leadership of a figure calling himself the Emperor of Brass, debasing themselves into the worship of the ruinous powers. Heavily militarized, the renegades quickly sponsored and armed rebel groups on worlds throughout the sector. Counterattacked, these groups revealed their hand of dark forces drawn from the Eye of Terror. For 500 years, the entire sector was dragged into bloody warfare, and the Calixian Inquisition itself suffered heavy losses in the fray. During the aftermath, the Calixian Conclave became plagued by schisms and divisions in its own ranks. It was at this same time that the chief tenets of Puritanism in the Calixian Conclave were shaken to the core by the excommunication and execution of Inquisitor Lord Cadella Moore. It was at this time that the chief tenets of Puritanism in the Calixian Conclave were shaken to the core by the excommunication and execution of Inquisitor Lord Cadella Morn. Morn was a noted monodominant who had based every endeavor of her long and distinguished career on unbending Puritanism and intolerance of any deviation or heresy. The event that was to trigger this crisis of belief was the discovery that Morn had been practicing sorcery and the malefic arts in secret for centuries as a hidden Xanathite of fearsome ability. She had made pacts with dark forces to grant her ever-increasing powers. Her denunciation before a gathering conclave of Inquisitor lords, drawn from across the Segmentum, was extraordinary. Far from denying the accusation, Morn confessed that she had embraced the corruption of the warp and used the tools of chaos, Xeno, and heretics as her own. She also, however, fiercely professed her belief in the tenets of monodomination. She said she was an Oblationist rather than a fallen Xanathite, and she had willingly damned herself so that she could act on her own beliefs, in truth rather than in wishful dreaming. Inquisitor Lord Vorn faced her excommunication and execution by immersion in molten brass without flinching. The heresy and death of Godella Morn sent a shockwave through the Calixian conclaves of the day. Inquisitors of all ranks could not comprehend how such a stalwart Puritan could believe in such a heretical doctrine as she had professed. Many, after reflection, came to the conclusion that chaos is infinitely subtle, and its arts can claim the brightest and most pure, and saw Morn's fall as an object lesson, a memento mori. Many radicals secretly laughed, venturing that the truth of their philosophies come to all in time, and that Puritanism can only be indulged by those blind to the war that the Inquisition wages. The story of Morn's fate and her professed beliefs had a profound effect on a small core of Puritans in the conclaves that was both traumatic and transformative. Inquisitor Lord Morn had been of much complete dedication to her task that her words and actions could only be the product of madness. Yet Morn had shown no sign of madness, quite the contrary. She had seemed rational and clear throughout her excommunication, and went to her pyre willing for her crimes. These inquisitors argued that if she was not mad, then her arguments and final testament must be considered, and as they saw her consumed in molten fire, many faced the grim realization that she must be right. The choice they faced was between willful damnation in ineffectual idealism. In that moment, in the death of Inquisitor Lord Morn and her challenge to the paradox of Puritanism, the Oblationist faction was born in fire, death, and sorrow. And those were 40 facts on the Oblationists. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, whatever social media you guys use. And of course, this lore comes from the Dark Heresy role-playing game. If you never got a chance to play, I would say check out. You could probably get the book still on eBay. It's not a published thing anymore, but it has a bunch of lore specifically for the Inquisition that really just fleshes out like how crazy the Inquisition was in terms of like the different factions and all that kind of stuff. Because when you think of the Inquisition within Warhammer 40K, it's pretty simple. You just have basically a FBI, CIA type of organization connected to the Church and the Imperium, but in reality, there's so many factions within the Inquisition that get full explanations within the Dark Heresy game. Mostly because in Dark Heresy you play acolytes. It's basically a Dungeons and Dragons in Warhammer 40K minus all the races. You can't actually play like Kroot or I wonder if you could play Kroot. I know that there's images of Kroot and stuff like that in Dark Heresy, but I don't think you can. It's a playable race. But either way, you are an Inquisitor or an Acolyte in the Inquisition. So of course the Inquisition is going to get a lot of explanation and a lot of lore. A quick synopsis of what a Puritan is, if you decided to watch the video without knowing what Xanathite or Xanathism is and Puritanism is. The Puritan is basically what we have now in 40K. You believe in the Imperial Creed, and you believe that Imperium should stay away from anything that has to do with the warp. Whereas a Xanathite or Xanathism believes that humans need to be empowered by the warp in order to destroy the warp. You know, fighting fire with fire, having astropaths, having what are those things called? Demon-bound guys? What are they called? Demon hosts. So controlling demon hosts, so actually bringing demons and using them as weapons rather than just fighting them. There was a schism within the Inquisition that said, yes, we want to use the warp, and those that don't want to use the warp. And out of that, even more factions came out because of individuals like Inquisitor Lord Morn, who was a part Puritan, part Xanathite. I think that's how you say it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Check out all those different lore videos that we've already created on those two factions. We're going to be creating more factions or videos on the Inquisition, because we still have to talk about the totalitarian. Well, no, what is it called? There's another faction that I mentioned during the lore that we're going to talk about in the next couple of days. The Inquisition is like I said, really interesting, and it gives you a lot of or it gives you a glimpse as to how fractured the political system, even within a faction that is so strong like the Inquisition is. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget we have a couple giveaways going on right now because of Christmas season and because it's a subscriber appreciation giveaway time of the month. We are giving away a variety of things. At this point, I don't know if the starter sets are already out. If they are, check out our 40 facts on either an Orc video, a Space Marine video, a Tau video, and then we also have the giveaway for the Gang of Delac, or Delike. No, what did I say? Delac. So check out our 40 facts on House Delac to win one of those boxes or any of the other 40 facts videos for the starter sets. Go over there, participate, and hopefully you win. It's because of our Patreons that we are able to do this, so if you guys want to support us and see more giveaways, jump on over to Patreon. It's a simple $1 a month, and it helps us create more videos for you guys. But with that said, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. This was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.
to put my freedom